now plugged in the mic that's on my headphones. So how does it sound now? Does it sound any better? I'm also going to turn my air conditioner down just a notch. It'd be nice if I could just turn off the sort of vents in the middle of the dashboard and keep the vents on the sides going, because it is kind of warm. I don't want to turn the air conditioner off entirely, but maybe I can close, or I can sort of divert the air a little bit. Oh, maybe that might be a little bit better right there. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know if it sounds better, if it sounds worse, or if it sounds the same. Because I'm an idiot. Left my good mic at home. But nonetheless, I think it's important to do this live stream. And whoever was in here just hopped out. Oh, somebody hopped in. Hello, hello. So as I was saying before to the people who were in here previously, I need help sorting out my audio. I left my good mic at home, and they're gone. Man, people just aren't staying in here very long. My audience retention needs some work, apparently. So next time I'll just use my good mic. I'll remember to friggin' bring it with me. But I forgot. So yep, just trying to see how many people would be willing to tune in on a Tuesday. Normally I do these things on Fridays. Occasionally, like if I have Friday off or something, I've been doing them on Thursdays, but most of the time I do them on Fridays. But just want to see how the turnout would be on a Tuesday. So far, not that great. Not a whole lot of people in here. Nobody at all in here, actually. Zero. But nobody in here yet. Just waiting for people to show up. Okay, so we are now 5 minutes in. I should rephrase that. Not we, I am now 5 minutes in, and not a single viewer is in this stream. There were a couple of people who sort of hopped in, but they weren't in very long before they hopped right out. So a little bit disappointing. I can't get more viewers in here, more than 0. But hey, it's good data. It's good data. I think normally on my Friday streams I can get at least a couple of people in here by the 5-minute mark, but on Tuesday can't get anybody in by 5 minutes. Somebody just hopped in, and before I could acknowledge their presence, they hopped out. So unless my numbers on my screen are wrong, if there is anybody that happens to be in here, first of all, thank you very much for joining. And secondly, I do need help trying to figure out how to mitigate my audio problems to the best of my ability. I basically have 2 choices. I can either leave my headphones plugged in. Right now I'm using the mic on my headphones. I don't know if it's working or not. Or I could unplug my headphones and just simply use the mic on my phone, which I did get some feedback on early on in the stream that apparently there was too much noise. Presumably that's from the air conditioner vent located right behind my phone. I have one of those magnetic air conditioner vent phone mounts. But yeah, it's good data to have, to know that Tuesday is just not that great a day for streaming, which is apparently the case. Unless I can get like 50 people to just hop in here in the next couple of minutes, that would be sweet. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm not trying to be a glass half empty kind of guy. Just trying to be real. Nobody in here. Nobody in here. Just read a news headline that a flight to Las Vegas was diverted because a passenger refused to wear a mask. Wow. They actually landed the plane at the nearest airport just because somebody didn't want to wear a mask. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable that is why they decided. Not a terrorist threat, nothing like that. Because somebody didn't want to wear a mask. That's why they grounded the plane. God. Oh, man. I mean, I guess there's blame on both sides. Like, to the passenger, I would say, like, come on, man. Like, if I was on that same flight, I'd be really pissed. Because it's like, dude, like, I'm only hours away from traveling to Vegas, which is actually going to happen for me coming up in December. And because of this stubborn passenger who doesn't want to wear a mask, now we have to find another flight. The flight got diverted. Like, that would really grind my gears. But also, I think there's blame on the airline side too. I mean, come on, that's why you landed the plane? Really? Like, why can't you just deal with that passenger after the plane lands? Like, you're gonna, I mean, it's not, oh my gosh. Like, do you really think that the difference between him wearing and not wearing a mask is gonna have some profound impact on the entire flight? Like, all of the passengers in that flight? Like, come on, man. Come on. I don't know. I just feel bad for the rest of the passengers on the flight. Now, look, I understand that, like, airlines are, I mean, I don't know. Can you even call airlines private companies? I don't really think you can, because airlines are always getting bailed out. So, like, it's not really private if they're just receiving government taxpayer bailouts left and right. That's not private. Now, if they were like a purely private company, I would say, okay, you know, like, they're a private company. They set the ground rules. You agree to them before you hop on board, and, you know, you're subject to the rules that you agree to. Like, that's all fine and great, but I don't know, man. Airlines just piss me off. Airlines just piss me right off. Like, why do I have to subsidize them? You know what I mean? Like, that's bullcrap. They should be able to survive on their own merit. Hello, whoever just hopped in here. I need help. Please don't go away. I need help figuring out my audio. Right now, I have my headphones connected because I left my good microphone at home like an idiot. But now I need some help. So let me know if you can hear me. First of all, yes or no, whether you can hear me. And also let me know if the audio is okay, or if it's, you know, shitty, or and I can try unplugging my phone just to see if that would be any better or not. Let's see. 30 plus. What does that mean? How's it going, bro? I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Really, really busy as usual. 30 plus, loud and proud. Okay, so like thumbs up or thumbs down on the audio? Like, it's, you know, maybe not great, but acceptable, or is it unacceptable? Because if it's unacceptable, I could probably just end the stream. And I mean, there's not a lot of people in here anyway. I think according to my screen, main wearings, you're the only one in here. I'm already 11 minutes in. Not a good level of participation so far. But to me, that's not really disappointing, because the whole point of doing the stream at this time was to just see, you know, Tuesday afternoon, is that a good time to stream or isn't it? He says it's really good. Okay, great. Thank you for helping me, man. I've been waiting for 11 minutes to try to get some help and feedback on this, and you are the one who has delivered. So kudos to you, sir. Thank you very, very much. But yeah, to answer your question, doing well, really busy. Spent most of the weekend, you know, just getting ready for the new baby coming up. You know, we're definitely not done with the items on our to-do list, and to be honest, I'm not super optimistic that we will be. However, if my wife were to go into labor like right now, I think we'd be just fine. You know, we have like the bassinet is built, you know, we have like all the infant clothes sort of washed and dried and put away, like all the big, really important things. Mainwaring says, did you have a look at the rocket videos? No, I did not. And previously to that, Tamilin Da says, hi, hello, Tamilin. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but shitty pronunciation aside, I am very, very grateful to have you in here. Thank you very much for joining us. 3 concurrent viewers. Wow! Must be some kind of record. Well, it is kind of a record on a Tuesday because I've never streamed on a Tuesday before. So, but no, to answer your question, Mainwarings, I did not get a chance to look at the rocket videos. I will. Did you send me the link? I can't remember if you did or if you didn't. I don't think you did. But I imagine I could probably just, you know, use the YouTube search bar and just figure out what they are. Just searching, you know, what was it? I forget what the ingredients were. I think it was like potassium nitrate and something else. Man, I can't remember. I have such a bad short-term memory. But yeah, I just thought I'd do this live stream because I don't really have any videos in the hopper right now. I'm hoping to get another educational video published as soon as possible. And I actually just ordered from Amazon one of those phone mounts. It's like a gooseneck sort of phone holder, a smartphone holder, and you can actually put it around your neck. It's so like basically what I'm thinking is I could kind of go back to the old way that I used to do videos, where it was just like a camera pointing downward at my hands, you know, working out problems on paper or on a whiteboard. And my thinking is that, you know, if I'm in a pinch and I want to get some educational video out or doing some practice problems or, you know, something like that, I could do a video like that. I could do it fairly quickly using just my phone and that phone mount. And then I might, you know, edit a little bit of it or maybe, you know, put like the end screen on it or whatever. And I wouldn't have to like build this whole studio or anything. I could just, you know, quickly make a video just so that I can have and hopefully like keep the quality of education up, you know, to what you guys expect, maybe even exceed your expectations. That would be nice, even though there won't be like a lot of bells or whistles or special effects or images or anything like that. It would be like a nice quick way to make it some educational content and get it out there, because my, you know, production period of, you know, the period of time that it takes me to produce an educational video in terms of like total hours, I haven't actually like logged, you know, like been keeping up with like how long it's taken me to produce them, but it takes quite a few hours. I mean, it'll take me, you know, maybe like 30 minutes on a good day to upwards of like maybe an hour and a half to shoot the video. And then before that, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, maybe even 45 minutes of building and setting up my studio, because I don't have a dedicated studio. I don't have like a studio that's just always there and I just walk up to it and sit down and shoot a video. No, the room in which I do my videos is a shared space. It's not my own space. It's like an office/home gym. So when I shoot a video, I have to build my entire studio, shoot a video, and then take everything down. So that kind of adds to the time of my production period, the fact that I don't have a dedicated studio. So my thinking is that by having this phone mount, I just got it on Amazon Prime, it'll be in a couple of days. By having this sort of phone mount that I just put around my neck and just have my phone sort of pointing downward at my hands, I can do a video on a concept that, you know, is simple enough that I can draw the images. I don't have to have any computer generated images. I could just draw, you know, work out the problems with like Sharpie markers or dry erase pens like I used to do, you know, kind of vintage old school Ben's Chem videos. Yeah, let me know what you think of that idea. I would love your feedback on it. I just, you know, I really don't want to stray too far from, okay, I just got oh, wow, I got a few messages in the chat. I will read them in just a second, but let me just finish my thought here real quick. I don't want to stray too far from doing educational content. You know, I know that I've done, you know, some like not like things that are unrelated to education, you know, talking about like my opinion on this, my opinion on that. I don't really want to go too far off the path of making educational content, but at the same time, it takes me so long to produce an educational video, and I just don't have that much free time, especially now that I'm getting ready for a new baby. So let me know what you guys think of like doing me doing a sort of a simpler way of uploading content like I used to do back in the day. So let me start reading some of the chat messages. Tamilin says it's 2:28 a.m. in my country. I am bored and came here. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for burning the midnight oil to join me. I really appreciate it. Mainwaring said solid state sugar. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the other ingredient in the rockets in addition to potassium nitrate. Tamilin says, I have doubts, sir. What is the de Bruy hypothesis? Oh, good question. I'm not really familiar with that. Maybe I might have touched on it when I took physical chemistry, but this was like over 8 years ago. So I do know what the de Bruy wavelength is, and I actually do have a video called the de Bruy wavelength. So if you look in my videos, you could probably find that pretty easily. I hope that would help. Doesn't sound like it will, but hey, it might. So you're welcome to look that up, obviously. Gaurav Kumar says, can you upload some videos for JEE Advanced? He entered that message twice, so I guess it's twice as important since he messaged it twice. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get too specific with instead of like, I don't know. I don't want to zero in on specific exams just yet, especially since the largest country of viewer, like the country that has the largest amount of viewers of my channel is the United States by a lot. So I don't necessarily want to tailor my content specifically for an exam that's done in India, at least right now, because right now there's still so much general chemistry I haven't covered. There's still chemical equilibrium, acids and bases, free energy and thermodynamics, electrochemistry. And that's just general chemistry stuff. I mean, there's like all this organic chemistry stuff too. And, if I ever run out of organic chemistry material, well, there's analytical, there's physical chem, there's biochem, there's inorganic chem. So I think I'm going to keep my content pretty much as general. Yeah, I'm going to keep it sort of oriented to concepts. I'm not going to keep my content oriented toward specific exams. I know some teachers do that, some YouTubers do that. They'll sort of have like videos that are oriented toward like the MCAT, which if you're not familiar, that's the exam that you take in college before you go to med school. Or like they'll have, for the LSAT, that's like the chemistry that, that lawyers or that, people who are aspiring to go to law school take. PCATs, I think, is the pharmacy school one. But yeah, I don't mean to be a disappointment. So, but I'll just give you the honest truth is that I'm not going to at this time. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I don't even know what the hell's going to happen in the future. But at this time, I do not intend to upload any content that is specifically geared toward any one particular exam. That doesn't mean that my content wouldn't be helpful for your exam. I mean, if that exam covers topics that I talk about, then my content could help with that. So again, not trying to disappoint, but that is the real deal. Same guy, Gaurav Kumar says, you are inspiration, sir. Thank you very much for your kind words. I really, really appreciate it. George Michael says, and now I'm going to have that George Michael song stuck in my head. Damn you. Okay, enough of that. Would you ever go to space? Man, I don't know. That kind of scares the hell out of me. Maybe after my kids are grown, and there's nobody depending on me, and let's say like I make enough money and my wife's like set for life, and it wouldn't be like financially devastating if I don't come back. Maybe I would, but if I could have like 100% guarantee that like all the kinks are worked out and it's totally safe, like hell yeah, I would go to space. But odds are, with the kind of money that I make, it's not a lot of money, and I probably would never be able to afford. Well, definitely will never be able to afford to go on any kind of space trip. I'm just thinking about that guy. What's his name? The guy from NSYNC, Lance Bass. Is that his name? Yeah, I think that's it. I guess he tried to pay a bunch of money, or I don't know if he was successful or not, but he tried to pay a bunch of money to go up into space because he's just like multi-millionaire from his career in the boy band or whatever. But yeah, I think that'd be cool if it was safe, but and also if it was affordable. But I don't see the affordable aspect of it happening. So anyway, Tamilin Da says, "Sir, is organic chemistry hard? What is your tips to learn it effectively?" That is a great question. This might actually be good enough for like a clip that I can upload. So the question is organic chemistry hard, and what are your tips to learn it effectively? So I think most people would agree that organic chemistry is hard. And obviously, I don't mean to be too analytical here, but when you say hard or easy, you're just talking about like hard or easy relative to something else, right? So harder than the average college class, absolutely. Especially things like any kind of humanities or like philosophy or anthropology or U.S. history or anything like that, or even like some of your basic like biology 1 or anything like that. Yeah, organic chemistry is a lot harder than that. The concepts are much more advanced. There's a lot more stuff that you might have to memorize. Also, organic chemistry relies heavily on your art, how well you are with sort of drawing three-dimensional molecules on a 2D sheet of paper, using like the wedges and dash lines. The wedges project forward and the dash lines sort of project away from the page, and then just the straight, regular weight lines, they're kind of in the plane of the board or in the plane of the page, right? So yeah, organic chemistry is definitely a challenge for most people. But then again, you always have those people who can just breeze through it because they just have a brain that's sort of compatible with it. I think I have a brain that's probably more compatible than most people with organic chemistry, but that doesn't mean that it was easy for me, especially organic too. And also, a lot of it depends on, how good your professor is. I mean, I'm not trying to talk too much shit, but like my professor for organic too just wasn't good. I mean, and I don't mean that his natural abilities of teaching weren't good. What I mean is that he just didn't really give the effort. He didn't give enough effort. And you can tell, like he would use the dot cam, like the overhead cam that looks down. Every lecture hall at this university had one. He would use that, and he would just bum a sheet of notebook paper from a student. He didn't even have his own like educational teaching materials ready to go. Oftentimes, there was one time where he even admitted, it was like during the World Cup, and he was like a big soccer fan, or association football for you people who don't know it by the name soccer. It was like during the World Cup, and he actually admitted to coming in to our class hungover. So, because of that, I think I think my experience with organic chem 2 would have been a lot better if I had a professor who was actually passionate about teaching. Because you'll find that a lot of professors, they just kind of have to teach. They're more passionate about the research than the students that they teach, or the actual teaching of the content. So a lot of it's just kind of a flip of the coin or a roll of the dice on what kind of professor you get. But so the second part of your question was, what are some tips to learn it effectively? And that's such a good question. I've wanted to address this for a really, really long time. And I'll do like a little bit of storytelling. And I think that'll kind of help segue into answering the question. So I remember when I was taking organic chemistry, and occasionally like I would study in groups with people. And it wasn't just chemistry majors, because organic chemistry has a lot of chemistry majors are a small component of like this big organic chemistry class. There's a lot of, I think, mostly pre-med students or students who are going for like micromolecular biology, things like that. So there's all kinds of students in there, but I could always tell which students were the pre-meds. And the reason why I could tell which students were the pre-med students is because all they cared about was the grade that they were getting. They were coming from, like, their starting point was, okay, this is the grade I want. I want it, top of the class, or, I want like an A, or, I want to do better than XYZ student or whatever. It was like coming from a place of competition rather than a place of understanding the chemistry concepts. And in my opinion, that is not really a good approach. Because there's always going to be people who score better than you, and there's always going to be people who score not as well as you. And personally, I think that a better approach is because I'm not just interested in receiving an A. I mean, yeah, if I can get an A, that's great. But the truth of the matter is that, especially for chemistry majors, the truth of the matter is your GPA isn't really as important as like the independent work that you do as an undergraduate researcher. Um, but to answer the question, though, I know I'm kind of rambling a lot, but to answer your question, I think that starting from, okay, how do I understand these concepts better? How do I understand these principles, and how do I apply them to all these situations? Like, just immerse yourself is what I would recommend doing, is to immerse yourself in the knowledge, in the principles, in the practice problems, in the content. Become intimately familiar with the chemistry, and I promise, if you take that approach, a good grade will certainly follow. And the other thing too is, I was saying practice problems earlier. That's really, really important. Practice, 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 practice. Do all of your assigned homework, and then when you're done with that, do all of your assigned homework again. Or maybe you can find some other problems that are sort of similar that you can, because really, like, organic chemistry is, it's not like a chemistry in general, but especially organic chemistry. It's not like, some history class where you have to, remember, some date that some historical figure did something, right? It's not like a bunch of random factoids that you remember and then just toss away and never use them again. Organic chemistry is about learning principles from the ground up. It's very accumulative, which means that if you have a poor understanding of early concepts, you don't have a good chance of having a good understanding of concepts later on. So it's very, very important to pay attention and study hard from the beginning, from like day one when you step into that general chemistry course, learning it from the ground up. So what you do is you take those principles and then you apply them to several different situations. So that's what organic chemistry is all about. And the more situations to which you apply those principles, the more practice that you do, the better off you'll be, and you'll be in a much, much better position to nail the class and to get the grade that you desire. And also, this is another thing, is that there was this really good organic chemistry professor that I had. I took him for Organic 1, and I also had him as my undergraduate research advisor. He had this web page, and he had this part of his web page that says, like, how do I do well in this class? And part of that, a really, really important part of that page that really kind of stuck out to me was to, there were two things. One of them was to set realistic goals, right? So, getting an A in organic chemistry might not be, because it is a difficult class, getting an A in organic chemistry might not be a very realistic goal, depending on other stuff that you've got going on in your life, right? If you're taking like 5 other classes, which is, usually people don't do that. Usually people take like 4, maybe 5 classes at the most. But if you're taking like, 4 additional classes that are all like upper level and require a boatload of studying, if you're working your way through school because you don't want to deal with like student loans and all that crap. And by the way, if you don't want to deal with student loans, good on you. I salute you for working your way through school. That is going to pay off in ways that it's hard to even fathom. I mean, student loans are absolutely toxic, debilitating, and they cripple people. But kind of lost my train of thought. I just drew a blank there for a second. But okay. So what I'm saying is, if you have other things going on in your life, or if you're like a parent, you're raising a child, something like that, if you have like all these other things that are keeping you busy, an A might not be a very realistic goal for you. Perhaps you should shoot for something more realistic. It's up to you to sort of figure that out. There's nothing wrong with sort of aiming high, but at the same time, I wouldn't want anybody to sort of like set themselves up for failure, or to sort of have a crushed dream because they worked so hard and didn't accomplish a goal that from the beginning was unrealistic. And the other thing that was on this this professor's webpage of how do I do well in this class was to take care of yourself. Make sure that you're eating enough, make sure that you're eating properly, make sure that you're sleeping enough, make sure that you're exercising enough. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. You know, if you take medication that you need, make sure that you're on top of your medication. You know, take good care of yourself. And, you know, because sometimes we think that it'll pay off for us to, you know, pull the all-nighter or, you know, like study really, really hard at the expense of our own health. But that always comes back to bite you in the ass. I promise you that. So hopefully that was a good answer. I know it was a little long-winded, but you know, I'm kind of really passionate about this topic, you know, about how, you know, about how I really dislike the sort of, you know, quote unquote pre-med approach to studying organic chemistry. So anyway, I hope that was a good answer. And all right, so let me move on to some other messages in the chat. So let's see. Are two atoms of the same element identical? Not necessarily, because you can have atoms of the same element that have different numbers of neutrons, and those are called isotopes. My name is Earl, is in here. Thanks for joining me again. Is interstellar asteroid transfer a part of astronomical chemistry? Good question. I have no idea. I've never learned it before, but I will, if I remember, I'll look it up and get back to you. Hattie, I'm not sure if your name is, what is, okay. I'll just call you HB. HB says, do you teach at school or university? No, I don't. I spent a year and a half as a high school chemistry teacher. I did a lot of tutoring when I was in college. I started this YouTube channel when I was in college. I've never taught at a university before. I mean, I've done like sort of guest lecture sort of things. But yeah, no, I'm not a teacher. I'm an actual chemist, not a teacher. I work for a private company. Gaurav Kumar says, are two atoms of the same element identical? I already answered that. Not necessarily. Oftentimes they are, but not necessarily. Sometimes you do have isotopes, atoms of the same element. Because remember, you know, all it means to be the same element is to have the, you know, all that it means if two atoms are of the same element means that they have the same number of protons in their nuclei. They could still have differing numbers of neutrons. So for instance, if you take hydrogen, right, the most abundant isotope of hydrogen, the most abundant atom of hydrogen that has a fixed, or you know, a given number of neutrons is called protium, or hydrogen 1. The 1 means that it has a mass number of 1. The mass number is simply the number of protons plus neutrons. So hydrogen 1 has a proton and no neutrons, and that's I think it's something around like 95 or 99. I can't, don't quote me, but it's like 90+% of all of the existing naturally occurring hydrogen is protium, hydrogen 1. And then you have deuterium, which is a hydrogen 2, which is a proton and a neutron. And that it's still hydrogen, but it's not identical to protium because it has a different number of neutrons. So I think you understand. I think you understand that now. So Kai says, I remember it went from E1 and SM1 reactions to alpha carbon reactions. I did get an A in both classes though. Just practice every day and you'll be good. Yeah, I agree with that. And I would also add on to that what Kai said about practicing every day with, you know, visit your professor during office hours. Because you have to understand too that, you know, I kind of touched on this earlier, but getting an A isn't, I mean, getting a good grade or, you know, improving your GPA or keeping your GPA high shouldn't be your only goal. The truth is, you know, GPA is one of many, many factors that'll improve your, you know, either your application for grad school or med school or, you know, your job prospects. Also, like I said before, your undergraduate research is really important. And also recommendations, letters of rec, you know, by visiting your professors during office hours and, you know, getting to know them and asking them for help directly with problems that you're having, you're introducing yourself, you're introducing your name, your face, and most importantly, your character and your work ethic, which is really, really, really important. Okay, I don't care if you have a 4.0 GPA, okay? If you have like nobody who can vouch for you, if you have no letters of recommendation, because every application, every med school application, every grad school application, they all require you to submit letters of recommendation. If you don't have any recommendations to your name, that 4.0 GPA on its own isn't going to get you very far. So in addition to studying and practicing every day, I would strongly recommend that you visit those professors, you know, force them to get to know you and, you know, get like, just get your name out there, you know, get your name out there, build the relationships. Let's see. Can water stay liquid below 0 degrees Celsius? Yes, it can. It depends on the pressure. It depends on the pressure. Also, it depends on, if you add salt to water, if you add, a solute, what was I going to say? Yeah, if you have a non-volatile solvent like water and you add some solute in it, like salt or something, that will lower the freezing point. It's called freezing point depression. It's called a colligative property, which depends not necessarily on the identity of the solute, but on the amount of the solute in moles. So yeah, water can stay liquid below 0 degrees Celsius. There's a couple different ways to do that. Mainwaring said, did you ever come across any studies looking to see any chemical difference between humans with different blood groups? I don't know what you mean by blood groups. Are you talking about blood types? I don't know what you mean. And I also don't know what you mean by chemical difference. So if you could elaborate on that, I appreciate it. HB says, I do not live in America. AM, not sure what that means, but thanks for your comment. Gaurav Kumar says, thanks for answering, sir. You're very welcome. Anytime. Thank you for your question. It was a great question. Knocked out of the park with that question. Good job. And then HB says, and we did a topic of intermolecular forces, including van der Waals forces, ion-induced dipoles, etc. Do you have any videos on that on your channel? If not, please do them. My teacher ain't great. I love the fact that you're not from America, but you're still using the word ain't. I love it. And I'm not being sarcastic. I really think that's cool. To answer your question, no, I don't have any videos on those types of, sort of intermolecular forces. I'm trying to think of them all. You have the van der Waals forces, which are also called London dispersion forces. You have the dipole-induced dipole, hydrogen bonding, ion dipole, all those kind of things, kind of digging me back to my early general chemistry days here. But yes, I can definitely do videos on that. I would be happy to do that. I'm sure you're probably not the only one who wants to see videos on that. So I can definitely sort of move that sort of a little bit higher on the priority list of things that I'm gonna cover. So I do kind of want to get through chemical bonding as much as I can. There's still a lot of topics that I want to cover. Things like molecular shape Vesper theory. I want to revisit valence bond theory, talking about hybridization, this and that. Definitely want to do some more molecular orbital theory videos too, because my molecular orbital video, geez, I can't even say it right. My videos on molecular orbital theory were pretty successful. They got a lot of views, so that's kind of one thing that's good for YouTubers to do that helps them is to just make more of what you're already known for. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm sort of known for is molecular orbital theory. There's not a whole lot of other YouTubers that have made quite as much content on molecular orbital theory that I have, and it's very old. My content on molecular orbital theory is very old. We're talking years and years and years ago, so it would be nice to kind of have some new and improved videos on that. But to your point, though, yeah, that's a very important, very good topic for me to discuss. So I definitely appreciate your feedback. Kai says, how many letters of rec do you recommend? Oh, just as many as you can get. I mean, I'm not going to put a number on it. I think 3 is a good minimum. You want to have a minimum of 3. Anything less than that is not acceptable, in my opinion, because most college applications will ask for, at least 3, but it doesn't hurt to have more. I mean, there's no limit to the number of relationships that you can build. And, I guess there is sort of a limit because, there's a finite amount of time in every day, and you don't want to have these hollow relationships. You want to have, I would say probably anywhere from 3 to, 10 seems like a lot, but maybe something around 7. 7's always a good number, right? Lucky number 7. If you had 7 solid relationships with professors, and by relationships, I'm not talking about I banged my professor for some extra credit. I'm talking about a solid, sort of, they helped you and, you might volunteer for them, you might help in their lab, this and that. You might provide some value for them, and then in return, they might give you a letter of recommendation. If you had 7 sort of relationships like that, man, that would put you in such a good position, even with a relatively lower GPA. If you have 7 of these professors that are and if you have some good ones that are really well respected in their field, vouching for you, I mean, that kind of thing goes a long way, man. So, let's see. Main wearing says, yeah, blood types. Are people chemically different? Again, I don't mean to be stupid or anything, but I honestly don't know what you mean by chemically different. I don't really know much about blood types other than the fact that, it's kind of, genetically determined what your blood type is. Some blood types are much rarer than others. I think, if I remember correctly, the blood type AB is like the universal recipient. So blood type AB can receive blood from just about anybody. And then blood type O is like the universal donor. Like if you have O type blood, you can give blood to anybody. But other than that, I don't really know much about much about blood types. I do know that you have to sort of have this similar blood type as if you want like a blood transplant or an organ transplant or something, or a blood transfusion or an organ transplant from somebody. It needs to be somebody of a similar blood type and this and that. But anyway, yeah, I'm afraid I don't know what you mean by chemically different. So I apologize for not being able to answer that, man. I'm sorry. Gaurav Kumar says how to deal with hard chemistry questions. Break them down into smaller chunks. If you have like a solutions manual for your textbook, like most textbooks, like my organic chemistry textbook has a solutions manual. So like all the practice problems, it actually doesn't just give you the answer, but it actually goes through like a step-by-step solution on how to answer it. Those are helpful. Asking people for help. And then, I wouldn't ask for help too soon. I would definitely give yourself, enough of a chance to solve the problem on your own. And then, after a decent period of time where, you're just stumped, then you kind of throw your hands up and say, okay, I need to help. I need to ask someone for help. And, and that's the perfect opportunity to go to your professor, your professor's office during your professor's office hours and ask for help. And that'll help sort of build the foundation for a relationship that might be a precursor for a good letter of recommendation later on down the road. So that's my answer. HB says, how often do you do a live stream like this, answering questions, etc.? I've been doing them pretty much weekly. I've been doing them on Fridays. I wanted to do one on a Tuesday just to see what kind of viewership I could get, just to see how it would go. Originally, I think I was like 11 minutes in before anybody even joined. So at that point, it was like really, it was kind of disappointing. But now it's like I'm getting a flood of questions. I got 7 people in here. So I'm actually, I might even do it on Tuesday again in the future. I also kind of wanted to do this stream because I don't really have much time at my disposal right now, getting ready to welcome my second daughter into the world in a couple of weeks. I'm banging out a bunch of items on my to-do list around the house. So I just don't have really a whole lot of time to produce a video, so I thought I'd, get something out there, and hopefully this live stream is of decent enough quality that it's, not going to hurt the audience. Hopefully it'll help the audience, and people will tune in. I would certainly appreciate that. But anyway, I think I'm going to end the stream now. I have to get home. I'll read the last message I just saw from Main Wearings. It says, does sound bizarre, LOL. I'm researching human origins, especially RH-. I just thought that came to mind. I'm in a Rosicrucian college. Alchemy is one of my favorite subjects. Yeah, right on, man. And I'll definitely look into it. Maybe we can chat about this a little later. You should hop in my Discord. Maybe we can get on a call or a video call or something like that. And that goes for all of you. If you guys want to join my Discord, I really appreciate it. If you look on my YouTube channel page, youtube.com/benschemvideos with no apostrophe, you'll see at the top of that page a banner. It's an image with a little periodic table. It says Ben's Chem Videos on the front. At the bottom right-hand corner of that image, you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and last but certainly not least, Discord. There's a permanent link. You can join the Discord. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't charge for it or anything like that, but you can hop in there. You can send me a DM. You can add me as a friend. Yeah, if you ever want to talk to me sort of more directly, so it's not me just talking to words on a screen, I'd be open to it as long as I have time. So the question is, okay, so it says, congrats for your kid. Wish you the best. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Congratulations. I'll let you know how it turns out. Gaurav Kumar says, how do you know she will be daughter? I know that it's a girl because the ultrasound images are very, very clear, and they show female parts. They don't show male parts, if you know what I mean. Don't mean to get too vulgar, but yeah, it's very clearly a girl. You can see the images in the ultrasound as clear as day that it's a girl. But anyway, I gotta get going. Thank you guys so much for your participation. This stream has certainly exceeded my expectations. Love the chemistry questions, by the way. Happy to talk about non-chemistry related things, of course, but when people ask me about chemistry stuff, oh, it's awesome. I love it. Great subject. But anyway, I'm gonna get going. So thank you guys again for participating, and I'll talk to you later. All right.